Moved all my shit to my parents' basement and out of our own apartment. And I know things change, but I'm not sure.
Chris, what's up, man?
Not much, Brian. Welcome to my house.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me, dude.
Yeah.
All right, so we talk a lot online. I mean, we're both very busy, got a lot of stuff going on in our personal lives.
Yep.
But I see stuff that you post, and you post fairly regularly.
Yeah.
You'll be going into work, and it's almost like a motivational message for the day.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was your intention, but you post stuff like, hey, I'm going to start my day, it's going awesome so far, you know, everybody have a good day. Something simple like that. And I always like it because I appreciate the sentiment. I also come to life from a very positive, you know, background. I try to, you know, infuse happiness in just about everything I do. And, you know, to really boil it down to its most simplest, you know, I feel like you got two choices in life: be happy or not be happy. You know, which one you're going to pick. You know, I mean, I know it's not always as easy as that, and maybe we can get to some. But so we both, you know, I feel like we connect on some way.
Yeah.
Philosophical, I don't know, spiritual. But now, this is going up on Review the World, and we've never done anything quite like this.
Yeah, we have.
And so this is something kind of different. It's very spontaneous. It's unrehearsed. It's unheralded. It's completely new. Now, your brother Eddie has been involved with Review the World for a long time. He's written stuff for us back when I had a staff page in the day, poetry and just random stories, short form fiction. He's appeared in a lot of my videos, my short films. You've really only a few things.
Yeah, a few things. Get in the trunk and get in the trunk.
Two,
yeah.
The trunk strikes back.
Or split.
Your head open.
Yeah.
You bled on camera.
Yeah.
You know, you bled through your art.
that hurt
but
pretty bad.
only people with the sharpest of eyes would recognize you. So you're kind of a new face to Review the World.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to kind of get that out there because I have a lot of regular, you know, visitors and followers. So we're just going to kind of talk about life here.
Yeah, I mean, we have a list of some bullet points.
You know, I literally, as I was holding my 1-year-old daughter today and trying to get things done around the house, I ripped up an envelope from the mail, some junk mail, and I jotted down some bullet points. But these are, you know, basically my question, and I mean, take this for what you will, but like, what is your philosophy, or how do you approach daily life? Like, what is your vantage? I don't know exactly the buzzword I'm looking for here, but like, you know, what do you look for in life? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is your...
What is my... I know what you're asking.
I mean, I can go first and just tell you. I mean, but I'm just curious, like, because going back to, like, you post these things on Facebook, obviously, you know, they're encouraging you, they're having an effect on other people. Like, it seems like you're trying to, you know, have, you know, some positive stuff going on in your life right now.
Definitely. I mean, positivity...
Like, where's all that coming from? Like, you know...
Okay, alright, okay, we'll dig deep. I'd say, you know, when I hit 18 for till, I don't know, 21, I went on this journey just trying to figure out, like, what life was. It was weird.
Sure.
Just one day I woke up and it's like you turn off the autopilot. You know, it's just, it's gone. You know, you're so used to being that teenage kid just going to school, like, oh, this is cool, this is what I'm going to wear today. You know, this movie's what's, you know, in right now. And then one day, like, I don't know, I just woke up and I was like, okay, wait a second, I am life. This is my body. Like, what?
Right, yeah.
What is this reality that we experience every day? And, I mean, that went on for a long time. And along with that came, I mean, depression and, you know, anger, any kind of emotion you would feel. You know?
Good and bad. And
because
you're experiencing it all. You're not shutting things off. You're trying to work your way through it.
Yeah, your life trying to understand your own meaning. You know, I mean, I think that's man's biggest, you know, search in life. And I would say, I guess jumping around to positivity, I approach my life every day now as, like, you could die at any moment. Like, I don't, I mean,
it's
hear
a
that,
fact of life. It's a fact of life.
You hear that all the time, but like,
but people experience it every day.
Yeah,
and we might be removed from that.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
we might have a distant relative who died tragically. We might, you know, never encounter that. But I mean, it's happening right now.
Yeah,
as unfortunate as to say. So yeah, it's not, and that's the thing. I think as we have this discussion, there are going to be things that we say that are cliches.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are cliches because they hold weight and they actually have truth behind them.
Yeah.
And so cliche, I want to just clear the air because this is just a random opinion I'm throwing out there, is cliches aren't necessarily bad things.
No, not at all. There's a lot of truth to that. You know,
But so yeah, you were saying people. I mean, we could die.
Yeah, we could die, and it's crazy because it's like, I don't know. I've approached the subject of why are we here in many different ways. I mean, there's religion, there's science, and what it's broken down to for me really is, I mean, we are gonna die. It's inevitable, and no matter. I mean, we have an expiration date. This body does, So it's like,
you hit me over the head with that. That's bad. But no, so let me try to see if I can see where you're going with, and correct me if I'm wrong. We have X amount of time here.
Yeah.
We don't know how much time it is. Therefore, it's even more of a precedent that we get on the ball and make the most out of life.
Yeah, exactly.
Or something to that effect.
Exactly. I mean, when you die, or when you're on your deathbed,
Yeah.
don't you want to be able to look back and be like, you know what?
It was pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet.
I made some people happy. I had some good times. I had fun. Yeah, that's what I want. Yeah.
You can completely take out, like, if there is existence after this life out of the picture.
Yeah.
And really just look at it.
In this particular
conversation, we're not speculating on that.
We're not going to go really into religion because that's opening up a huge can of worms. And I mean, if we ever did do that, especially on video, we'd probably want to prepare and stuff. But no, I mean, that's a vantage point.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, just for the sake of existing now, I think that it's really important that you embrace the day and just realize that you can be sad all you want. And you can I don't know. You can be so self-destructive in life, but you're gonna wake up and you're still gonna be breathing. You're still gonna be in this world. So like, why not have a blast?
And it's
while
funny
you have
because
the time to be here.
you said we can be so self-destructive, and we can. Like you could after the shoot go and shoot up or something, but. You could also, as self-destructive as you could be, Chris, you could be the complete opposite. You can make your life as much as you want it to be, right?
The thing about life,
self-empowerment.
Yeah,
I think something that we've also touched base on together personally in the past is like self-improvement. We've talked about that. I've seen you at parties before, and everybody else will be listening to music or getting high, and we'll break off into some weird corner. Maybe had a drink or two, but we'll start talking, and that is something we always talk about is self-improvement, and that's a kick that I got into around high school, and I want to talk about that. I heard people doing racist jokes. I didn't like it. I actually, but that's the start. That was the start of something much bigger for me. It really shaped me. I dated an African American. I had a girlfriend in elementary school that was African American, so I was sensitive to that. So I didn't. But that was the start. I told myself, Brian, you're not gonna ever, you're gonna try not to ever make a racist joke. You don't like it, then don't do it. Then it came like, oh, this guy's homophobic. I don't appreciate that. I respect everybody. So, first it was just something as small as cutting out that type of humor. Like, I didn't like it. It was negative. Let's focus on the positive. But that was my first kind of self-improvement, like, goal. And I hit it. And then it was, like, self-confidence. And that's a tricky one for a lot of people. But for me, it was almost like a game. I kept working at it. I would talk myself up like a prize fighter getting ready to go out, and I built up my self-confidence. And I found out that the key to it was just all up here. Mm-hmm. Like what people think of me, your perception, people watching this, like how much weight does that hold? It's up to you to determine that. And so that was the next one for me, was self-confidence. And then I just kept on working on that. Positivity, which is kind of the catch-all for what this video is sort of about. That was one too that I always was like, I want to be happy. What can I do to be happy? I want others to be happy. And so that was like my big self-improvement goal, and that's one that's an everyday kind of thing. So we've kind of laid out a little bit like how
did want to say one last thing.
Absolutely.
Just you hit on it. We can be whatever we want to be. Like I definitely woke up and realized one day, like after being going through some stuff. Like we all have stuff that we have to deal with in life that sucks. But I mean, you can wake up and if you really just, I don't know, you just really look at yourself and you just really look at life. You can do and be whatever you want. There are no rules.
It's not just an add-on on a TV
and I feel like growing up, we're conditioned to kind of, don't do this, don't do that. This is kind of the outline for what you need to do in life, and that's just. That's ridiculous because
I feel it, man.
Man was here before all of that came into play, right? So we haven't always lived that way in this life, and it's who am I to tell you, Brian? You can't do RtW. You can't because obviously you are. So I mean, you've taken power over your own life and you're exercising. In
the car earlier tonight, actually, we were doing some things before we got to the shoot. And I said to you, every moment that passes by is a moment to turn it all around.
Exactly.
And we kind of just paused and we both like,
think about all the
spontaneous
time
thing that hit me. But like, say you are having a bad day, flip the script, and that's something too. tying this again. Well, I'll get to that later. That's something I'll remember to touch on later. We've both kind of established a little bit about our philosophies. Let me just fill in a couple dots on mine. Going back to what I was saying earlier, positivity is obviously huge in my life, and that's my main thing. Is like I would like to wake up happy. You know, I have a wife. I have 2 small children. I want them to be in a happy environment, in a loving environment, and my coworkers. You know, I want to have, you know, I want to have positive, you know, influence on everybody, and that's, you know, that's me. And that's kind of a very broad, we have time constraints, we have different things that we're dealing with today. I don't want to open it up too much, but another thing to kind of get away from just, you know, the broad positivity angle, another thing is just being cognizant, being aware, being in the moment. Yeah. That's something that I think is super important. And I actually, when I first went to Miami University, when I was in college, I took an art class, and one of the things that we learned very early on, it just had a huge impact upon me, was aesthetics. And that is, you know, and the example that the book used just blew my mind. And it's the most simple thing. It was a doorknob. It said most people see it as a function. They don't see it as an individual thing. It's just it's this doorknob. You never think twice about it, ever, your whole life. But stop and look at the doorknob. Feel it. What does it feel like? Does it have scratches in it? Why? Like, or is there history? You know, and it's such a simple thing, but it was like all of a sudden, like, you know, my mind. And the next day I went to the post office, and I was like, you would have thought that I had been locked in, you know, a cellar for like a decade. I was just looking around at everything. And you can't, you know, maybe it's not realistic to do that all the time. I mean, we have, you know, functions that we do, we work, but, you know, you can plug into that. I'll be driving to work and, you know, looking for a little motivation to kind of keep the day light, and I'll just start looking around at street corners and broken curbs and, you know, beauty in the little details. And that's another thing that I kind of like. So that's another one of my sort of philosophies.
You start to appreciate the little things that you may not have noticed. Yeah.
So we've got, you know, these bullet points here, and if we're going by that, we've hit on 2 of the 5. So we're kind of in the middle here. This one sort of ties into the last one, and I just kind of put, like, what brought these things to light. Now, for you, you kind of already touched on that.
Yeah. We went through that rough time.
Absolutely, during your rough time.
Children, relationships.
Facing a lot of adversity.
Yeah.
And looking for a way to overcome that.
And yeah, definitely. So what would you say brought it to be for you?
You know, for me, there's a couple different things, but one of the specific incidents, and it's not that it's difficult to talk about, but it's one of those things that I wish could have, you know, been a little bit different. You know, my dad had a disability, a foot injury that kind of got him laid off of work. He couldn't go back to work. He came home. He became withdrawn. He became bitter. He became kind of stubborn. You know, and he became, you know, he was going through a tough time himself. He's told that he can't work anymore. And, you know, as an adult now, I can kind of see, you know, where he was, you know, and maybe can empathize with him a little bit more than I could then. But back then, I was a teenager. You know, I wanted my dad, and so his negativity to me was like a wall. So, like, I would get up in the morning, I would walk past him to get to the shower. I wouldn't even, like, say, hey, Dad, like, you know, we really didn't talk for a couple years. And my regret is that, you know, we probably missed out on time that we shouldn't have. But, you know, it really helped build my character because I saw something I didn't like again. And that's, you know, it was in my own control. But I saw something I didn't like. My dad's bitter. You know, he's always doing is complaining about things. You know, I just didn't like that energy. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do the complete opposite. And, you know, kids are always rebelling against their dads, but it wasn't something as, you know, trite as that. This was something, you know, with merit. And I said, you know, I'm going to go out and be positive. I want to have positive energy. You know, I want to be positive, friend.
You radiate positivity.
I try, man, and I try, and it's not always easy, but you know, I try, and that's the origin.
And it takes work. You're not just going to be happy all the time. You have to work at being happy.
Yeah. And it's not about, you know, forcing positivity. It's, you know, it's
embracing.
It's not letting, you know, negativity win. Is a way to look at it. But that's kind of my, you know, that's where I started at with this whole thing.
Okay. One thing I wanted to kind of cover is, so we've kind of talked about being happy, you know, being positive, but one key thing, and you and I were kind of discussing this a little bit the other day online. You know, just passing by one another, having neighbors that, I mean, who the hell are you? You know, you don't know. Yeah, we were talking about that, how, like, daily life, like, I don't know, I really think that just happiness and you know, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but
well, what we were kind of talking about online the other day, my interpretation of it, and see if I'm kind of filling in those gaps. It was communication.
Correct.
Not just like you and I are
with
having
the human beings around.
Right. It's not just and which communication is key too. With going back to that self-improvement thing. That was another thing that I tried to do. I was like, I'm gonna look people in the eye when I talk to them. I'm really gonna listen to them. I'm not just gonna wait for my turn to talk. It was hard. I'd be at the diner with my friends, and I'd be like, man, I really can't wait to when I can talk next, so I can say this. My opinion of this shitty comic book movie I watched. And so, yeah, so I mean, but we were specifically talking about communication with the world at large, with strangers.
Yeah.
People that you don't know every day.
It's like,
And there's a terrific film, Richard Linklater film, called Waking Life, and there's a segment in it. It's a heady film about philosophy, but there's this girl uses the term ant mode.
Ant mode.
And to kind of paraphrase, she says, we are so conditioned, again, that word conditioned, we are conditioned to go through life with our heads down and our antennas up, and we go from one menial task to the next, and we don't embrace. It's not only communicating, but we don't, our souls don't connect. And who's to say you meet somebody on the subway or waiting in line at the grocery store and not have a golden moment?
Can you imagine, how many great relationships and just incredible conversations that you miss out on every day by not stopping and saying hi to somebody that you randomly pass by. Hundreds of people every day that, most of us just don't take the time to even recognize. It's weird. It's almost like we're subconsciously programmed just to
just do our thing.
To do our thing, yeah.
And we both have different backgrounds. Like, we're both, we've had some experience with higher education, but we both have also worked in retail environments.
Yeah.
And that's another one where, hundreds of people might come by every day, maybe more. And it's up to you, how you interact with them. You can just be by the book and be impersonal, or you can just flash a little smile sometimes and see what happens. Now, sometimes you're going to be met with somebody that's maybe having a miserable day, and they're not going to really reciprocate it, and they're going to challenge you or something, and let it slide. Don't hold on to it. But when you do smile at a complete stranger, the satisfaction when they reciprocate it and stuff, it's good. It's like fuel for the soul, as weird as that sounds. But yeah, so I think to kind of close off that chapter of this talk, you're basically urging the people out there. Put it into your own words here. To open up.
Take the time to get to know people, because life is short and people are beautiful. Everybody has something to bring to the table.
Yeah,
can be a great part of your life.
A smile and a hello to strangers. Don't be completely closed off.
Yeah, and when I say that, people of all races, of all backgrounds, everything. We are all here together. And we can either enjoy it together or not. And
be closed off. And we've got two things here that I want to run through fairly quickly just to tie this all together. One of them, I just wrote a one-word, examples. And what I wanted doesn't even have to be a specific day where everything went right and you can break it down hour by hour. It can just be a general sense. But can you give an example of a day where you maybe were radiating, not necessarily positivity, but you were just happy? Let's throw away positivity as a word for a minute and focus on happiness. Has there been a day that you could, where you just start off on the right foot? Can you share that and kind of lend it to something people, might pick up on?
I can.
I don't know who this is, but I'm gonna...
Go ahead. Okay. For example, you saw my posts. You commented on them, or you liked them about the positivity that I was experiencing, the happiness.
I often do.
Yeah, I woke up the other day, I was feeling great, and what I actually decided to do was do something different than I've done every day of my life. So I went to Bob Evans and I ordered something that I don't ever order, and then I went to get my haircut. I walked in. As soon as I saw the price, I decided, I'm going to cut my own hair. So I went home and shaved my head, and I went through the day,
Right.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Anyway, I went through the day just kind of, embracing life and realizing that it's so, it can be so intricate. It doesn't have to be this one way.
Yeah.
And it was pure happiness.
It's a series of choices. Yeah. It's not just one at the start of the day. As you were doing things throughout the day, you were kind of keeping yourself on your toes, and that's good, man. I like that.
It was actually amusing because I was conscious of the fact that I was doing it, and I was pretty happy,
Right, and I think maybe over time, maybe we lose that consciousness if we do it more often, and it becomes more second nature, which is great. Let's see. I think there's something I wanted to add on to that. We mentioned before, every moment's a chance to turn it around. Well, you started off the day good, and this is something I want to kind of let people out there know. It's great to try to start fresh. That's the best time of day, but, and this is one of those cliches that we said we were going to get around to, tomorrow is just a day away. So if you do have a bad day, say you slip up, say one of your self-improvement things is you don't want to complaint-free. But you find yourself, you're complaining about work, you're complaining about, the drive home, the commute, traffic, guy flipped you off, whatever. But you found, oh man, I've been complaining, I didn't even realize it, man, I just feel bad, feel lousy. Man, tomorrow's another day, so don't throw in the towel, Mm-hmm. Wipe it off, and give it a couple hours, and then, you got a fresh start the next day. I just want to remind people that it's simple, and but just kind of unlock that.
Our initial reaction is overreaction, it's like fight or flight, so when a situation arises, we react to it immediately.
Yeah.
And that's how it is, fight or flight. And the best thing to do is when you're having a bad day, or when something is getting you down, don't immediately react to it, because that can be the biggest mistake, and with, just take the time to sit down and reflect.
That's a good rule of thumb to kind of to hang on to. Yeah.
Because we are programmed to immediately react. That's how we work. So, and your immediate reaction is not necessarily a reflection of who you are. Obviously,
that is true. You can get in some hot water. Yeah, just take a second to chill and catch your breath and kind of reassess. That's good. Let's close it off here and kind of
how they use it. How you use it every day.
Yeah, this is I kind of jot down in kind of broken sentence structure.
So give me an example. What you're meaning.
What I meant here is and this is trying to reach out to the people that have sat through the video, and that's how this is practical. Yeah, we're talking about somewhat heady stuff, kind of philosophical stuff, but this isn't supposed to be academic. This is supposed to be rich. This is supposed to be something that every single person can potentially use.
Yeah,
if they saw. And so how can you use this stuff every day? I'm going to throw out two different examples. The first one is more specific. Getting kind of outside of your comfort zone. So about a few months back, I invited you out on kind of a little philosophical field trip. It was a Sunday morning. I said, you're going to have to get up early. We're going to go to the Hamilton Zen Center.
Okay, yes.
And you said, the Zen Center, man. Okay, I'll do it. You never said no, but I know that you had questions.
Yeah.
And I also, too, I've brought several people, newbies to the Zen Center, and I always try to preface it. I let them know, because when I went in there the first time, I went in completely blind. And the only person there that first day...
Was that your second time going out?
Oh, when I went with you? No, that was probably... I'd been about half a dozen times.
Oh, half a dozen. Okay. All right.
But the very first time I went was a Sunday morning again, and it was just me and the head instructor, who had only seen that one time. An older guy, gray hair, and sage-like, had that quality to him. And so it was very kind of intimate and kind of different. I'm like, man, this is... but I always tell people kind of what to expect, and for those, obviously a lot of the people watching this, let's just say, haven't been there, but what it is it's a meditation place. You sit down, you get, you can sit on the floor, or you can sit, they have cushions, and, there's set meditations, they break that up, you do some walking meditation, kind of with your head down quietly. You absorb the sound of the floorboards, but then you go back to set meditation, and then that's up to you, what you do, where you go in your own mind. I mean, nobody's going to teach you how to meditate. You just, And so I asked you to go. Can you relate anything about that experience was?
We actually went to Burger King after that, and we had a discussion about our experiences there. And correct me if I'm wrong, we had talked about when we were walking around, kind of looking at things and reflecting. I recall looking at the boards on the wall, right? And there were all kinds of just holes, like where nails had been. And I believe that my comparison was that to us in life,
Okay, I remember that.
And how we have all kinds of things pinned to us, and we get worn down, but in the end of the day, we make it through. And and that's kind of what's the best way to put this? We all bear those wounds, but we all continue forward, in life. And it's I don't know. It was a great experience, definitely.
Yeah, it was something completely different, and that's so the Zen Center was something that you can do in your everyday life. Maybe not that specifically, but try something different. The other thing that I'll say, as far as using it practically, is going back to that kind of self-improvement. Find things in your own life that you want to change. And be honest with yourself. And that's something that...
That's key.
That's something,
That's the
I've been on
this
self-improvement thing for a long time, but it wasn't until maybe the last year or two that I sat down and got real honest with myself and faced some of the things about myself that maybe I don't like as much. And so, be honest with yourself, come up with some things that you want to do, and just start working on them day by day. You don't have to tell anybody. It can be quiet. Make it your own. you know. And over time, if you find progress and you want to communicate with it to your friends, that's good, you know. They'll encourage you. So, but that's, you know, keeping it simple. It's just, yeah, you know, start small, but find things that you want to change in your life. Find your happiness, and yeah, every day start fresh. And if you slip a couple times, no big deal. You got tomorrow, and just keep working on it. And here's the cool thing about this whole thing is after a few days, after a week or two, when you see the progress that you've made and you're starting to see the world a little bit differently, at least for me, that discovery, you know, that opened up so much. And so I hope that maybe I can pay that forward and kind of share that with people.
Yeah, one thing to keep in mind too is, you know, change and progress. It's one step at a time. It's not immediate. So it's little changes. You know, if you try to do it all at once, you often burn out, right? You know, it's the little changes that are really going to push you forward, you know, in life. And, one thing I kind of wanted to hit on was just embracing just everybody. And I don't know. You had kind of talked about racism a little bit, and to me, you know, just, you know, observing in this world, like you take a black man, a white man.
Sure.
We all underneath. It's crazy to me because
No,
I just
right,
look at
right.
it
We
like
have the
complete
same-
and
yeah,
utter
yeah.
ignorance. You know what I'm saying?
Right, we have the same DNA.
It's pretty.
You know, it's
and it's I mean, collectively as a species, we all need to be working together to accomplish things and to further mankind. You know.
Let me take that. Let me do two things here as I finish my thoughts. You're talking about embracing everybody. Let me take that and you know, something that's big. Let me make it huge. Embrace everything.
Everything.
Embrace every moment. Try to live in the now. I mean, the cool thing, you know, like now we have technology and I can get online and I can, you know, play games or do whatever. But this is also a huge distraction. And so, you know, say you got this new time-saving device. What do you do with that time that you just earned? Do you use it doing more busy work? Or do you use it walking around a butterfly garden? Or, you know, do you go visit a cone temple or something? Like, so, yeah, you know, embrace moments. And here's my last thought, and then I'll let you kind of maybe if you want to sort of wrap it up, because I just want to say this last thing. Going forward, I want to be, you know, the best Brian, you know, that I can be. Not only for myself, you know, and for my own happiness and peace of mind when I go to bed at night, but also for those around me, my family, my real close ones, my loved ones, as well as, you know, the strangers, the other people in the world I meet. So I don't want to just be the best Brian, you know, I want to be the best father.
Mm-hmm.
That's hugely important to me. I want to be the best husband. And I see, and I, you know, being honest with yourself, sometimes I'll sit back and reassess. I'm like, you know, I'm a pretty good husband, and I'm not the greatest. You know, I can be a little bit more attentive. I can do, you know, this and that. But that doesn't get me down. That inspires me, because I'm like, you know, I know what I can do to improve, and I'm going to work on that, you know. So I want to be the best father. I want to be the best, you know, husband. I want to be the best friend to my friends, the guys holding the cameras and stuff. I want to be dependable if they need somebody, you know. So that's, you know, that's my goals right now, and I'm working towards them, and I'm finding fulfillment and happiness. And so that's me. I'm tapping out, man. I don't know what else I can say at the moment. Heart on my sleeve as always, Chris, dude. Bring us home, man.
I would say I have to agree. I guess in conclusion, you know, for me, I'm a father of 3 beautiful children, by the way. And you know, every day I wake up and I just try to think about, you know, what can I do today to make myself better than I was yesterday? You know, and I guess when I leave this world, I want my children to remember me as a great father, you know, and I want to believe in myself, and and I don't know, I want to share the experience of growing and becoming something better than I was with the world, and hope that, you know, maybe it rubs off on even one person, you know, and that, you know, they'll wake up one day like, you know what, I'm gonna have a great life. Like, this is gonna be one hell of a ride. That's gonna be enjoyable, you know.
No doubt.
So.
And I always tell people online, I say, you know, I'm not doing this to get paid. I'm not doing this to get rich. I'm not doing this for internet fame or any of that. I'm just doing this so maybe I'm having fun doing it, but also so maybe somebody will watch a video or read an article and smile, brighten their day a little bit. So
the last thing that I want to say is key to happiness is expansion of the mind and information. You know, the more knowledgeable you are, the happier you will find yourself. And I think that it's very important that people they push the boundaries of their mind, pull back and get rid of things like racism, you know, or racist thoughts, and really just use your mind. Your mind is this
super powerful,
super tool that you have.
It's crazy.
Like, you can learn anything you want. Yeah.
And still get out of your comfort zones, read more,
exactly,
different topics,
yeah.
but also travel more, do things,
exactly.
you know, try different foods. This is all, I mean, the world is open.
Correct. I mean, intelligence isn't just schoolwork or anything like that. It's experiences.
Yeah, it's not just what's smart. Absolutely, experiences are huge.
Yeah, it's broadening your horizons. And I think that honestly in life, that if people could aim to do just one thing with their life, you know, it would be to reach the point where your life ends being a hell of a lot more knowledgeable and open-minded and expanded, you know, in your overall being than you were the day you were born. And
you've talked a lot tonight about legacy, and it's kind of like I don't a lot look at it from that perspective, but it's given me a different vantage point to kind of think back. Yeah, what do I want to leave behind? Do I want Brian to be known as no, I want him to be known as a loving guy and somebody that had fun and somebody that went out happy and so. Chris, man, I hope that people have found benefit in this video. Yeah. It's very unorthodox. It's nothing like I've ever done before here on Review the World, but
it's something we were kicking around for a while, and
but I just want to thank you personally because whether they I can't again I can't, but for me this has been nice. It's been rewarding. And I'm going to take things from it. I'm going to chew on it tonight, digest it, and kind of think about it. But, I'm going to use things from this conversation as fuel, pushing me ahead. So, man, thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks
for
for
doing
coming
this, man.
out, man.
Cool, dude. I got to get on the road, man.
All right. See you.
See you, man.